From a meeting at the office to a big first date, there's a lot of pressure to wear the right clothes for every event. But clothes don't make the man. So why stuff your closet with things that only work for some situations? With Mack Weldon, you can build a wardrobe that looks polished in any setting. Their clothing is understated and tells the world that you stay you wherever you go. They craft each piece by combining timeless style and modern performance materials, so you can stay looking good and feeling comfortable from morning to evening. No wardrobe changes required. Browse everything from summer-ready tech linen shorts and anti-odor polos to tailored sweats and cruise for a night in. They can outfit you for anything, no matter what's on your agenda for the day. Go to MackWeldon.com and get 25% off your first order of $125 or more with promo code MACK25. That's MackWeldon.com, promo code MACK25.
Business owners wear many hats, but mailing and shipping expert shouldn't have to be one of them. Hi, I'm Al Coe, CEO of Stamps.com. We've helped over 4 million customers print postage, manage tracking, and schedule free carrier pickups so they don't have to leave the office. Stamps.com is committed to delivering the best solutions and rates all on one platform so you don't waste your valuable time. Go to Stamps.com to sign up for a special offer.
At Arizona State University, we've made online education better, smarter, and more personalized so you can go further in your aspiring field.
I decided to pursue medicine once I realized that ASU did have the online program for biological sciences. You're still required to learn the same curriculum. You're still being tested on the same content that anyone would be tested on in person. The comprehensiveness of the program prepared me so well for medical school.
Explore over 300 programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
If you love entertainment, current events, and Hollywood, don't miss Creator to Creators, hosted by the filmmaker Meosha, known for the Shudder hit documentary Horror Noir and the acclaimed film Anatomy of an Anti-Hero, Redemption. This show features interviews with filmmakers and creatives from around the globe. Join the fun with guest celebrities and gain valuable insights. Subscribe now and follow Creator to Creators.
Hi, guys. Welcome to another episode of Creators to Creators Today. Today, we have a special guest.
Hey, Anthony.
Welcome back, my friend.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm glad to be back.
Yes. I mean,
Glad
the
to
last
be
time you
back.
were here, we were getting into just how awesome you are and just the things that you're doing, the music, and now you have some new music for us. I'm very excited to get into that. But for those who don't really know much about you, or for first-time listeners out there, tell them a little bit about, how you got into music, a little bit about like who inspired you, and how did you get to where you are now?
Yes, so I started very young. I was born into a musical family. And I don't know a day with music was not playing in my house. There was always music or my grandparents singing. My grandmother played the piano, my grandfather played the guitar,
Nice.
and they had a little quartet group. But I would say about age 9. I would say about age 8, 9 years old. I knew I had a sense of pitch, melody, and tone.
Mm.
And my father had introduced me to Michael Jackson. So he started me watching the Jackson 5. So me and my brother would immediately turn the living room into a stadium by playing the Jackson 5. And I said, I just want to do something as close to that. I just want to experience something like that. And the fact that, he wrote amazing songs that touch people's hearts,
Right.
and I started writing at age 12.
Wow.
I had written, yeah, I wrote my first song at age 12, and it was so moving. I'm like, if it's moving me and other people, because everybody like, who wrote that song? I never heard that song. I'm like, it's me.
Right.
But I knew at that age, at age 8, 9 years old, I knew that I wanted to be a recording artist,
Nice. I
and
love that.
I wanted to, just change lives, with music.
Absolutely. And and music is such a healer, it's like, and it's amazing that you knew at such a young age that this is something you wanted to do. And, the fact that you get to, that you introduced to someone that is so, like Michael Jackson, I mean, probably one of the greatest that ever done it, right?
Yes, he is one of the best. One
Right.
of the best to ever do it. Him and
Right.
Luther Vandross, Tony Bennett. I
Yeah.
listened. I listened to all of them. I was just listening to Tony Bennett before you came on.
Oh, nice. I love that. So you're feeling the vibes. I love it. No,
I am.
no, I think it's amazing, to see that kind of like image and how beautiful that is to see
Mhm.
the fact that he was such, African American boy that,
Yes.
you know, kind of basically took over the world because, you don't think, that you can until you see that kind of like that person that, oh, that person did it, um,
Yes.
and just how hard it is to break in and to push boundaries and to be not just, representing, but, his culture, but the fact that he was known everywhere, like everyone
Yeah.
knows his name. It's insane.
Absolutely, because he had music that touched everyone. It wasn't just one particular audience because we live in a world they want to put you in a box.
Right.
But Michael, he was not, and he inspired me, like you said, to see off the wall. I listened to that album so much.
Yeah.
um, and seeing an image, someone who looked like me, gave me hope. Coming from a small town of 300 or 400 people, I always knew I wanted to do it, just didn't know how. Didn't know how it was going to be done.
Yeah.
But the Most High had favored me by blessing me with the amazing producers that is on this EP. And I don't it's really I really don't like taking credit for the songs because I truly believe I'm just a vessel.
Mm-hmm.
I can't take credit for it because it's God's work. He
Right.
just using me as the spokesmodel to
Yeah.
get the message out.
Yeah, absolutely. And and also like congratulations on your new EP, and
Thank you. Thank you so
just
much.
it's so such a good time to hear stuff like this. We live in such a time where it's just so much going on, and
Yes.
feels like a lot of people need some music to kind of get away from all the noise and
Yes.
some hope in the world. So
Come on now. Yes,
I appreciate.
absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. And that's why I wanted to complete it, because like
Yeah.
you said, we in days when we were going through so much.
Hmm.
And the last time I was here, I had released my first single, which is You For Me. And to date, that has streamed 20,000 streams. So that
Wow.
gave me hope that
Congratulations.
people still want to hear a great voice with great melodies,
Yeah. Yeah.
so that gave me hope to continue to complete this EP.
Absolutely. And I love it, the title Worth Living. So, and I'm sure that comes from such a vulnerable place. Can you share more about the healing process you experienced while creating it?
Yes. So that melody came to me. I lost my grandmother on December 9th of 2020.
Hmm. So sorry.
Yeah, thank you so much. So that was what, 3 weeks before my birthday. My birthday, December the 23rd. So I
Oh.
lost her. And I came home from the funeral after the burial. I was so strong. Um, in the beginning, with the funeral arrangements and getting through that process, but it came reality. You
Right.
go to that graveyard and this woman not walking back with you.
Right.
So I stayed strong and I came home and I got across my bed and I just broke down. I broke down crying. And then I heard this beautiful melody. Life is still worth living. It's gonna be all right, my child. Don't you give up. Long as you are breathing. And so I jumped up. I said, that was so beautiful. And I went back crying again. So 3 months later, around like March of 2021, I was getting ready to leave out to run some errands. I was getting ready to get my shower. I jumped in the shower, didn't even get the chance to turn on the water.
Mm.
Tell me why that melody came back to me again. I said, "Oh no, I got to record this. I got to write this. I got to record. Where my phone? Where my phone?" I jumps out the shower, goes back in my room, get the phone off the charger, and I recorded on my voice note the melody. I said, if I get a chance to, come across an amazing producer, I want to record this. I would love to record this.
Right.
Fast forward, fast forward March of 2024.
Nice.
I completed the song the entirety
Wow.
and I recorded it. And when Rocco, my engineer, he mixed and mastered and played it back, I broke down crying and I
Mm.
couldn't stop. I said, I can't stop crying, Rock. I can't stop crying. And then I played it for my mother. She listened to it and I did not tell her the effect that it had on me. When she
Mm.
listened to it, her response was, I can't stop crying. I can't stop crying. I said, Mom, that was the
Oh.
same response that I got. So I said, if this inspire and this it inspired me, and it's a perfect time because I just lost my nephew as well. We're still mourning. We
Oh, I'm
just
so
buried him in
sorry.
October. Thank you. So he passed. 17,
Oh,
still a
wow.
baby,
Oh my
still a baby.
gosh.
So we're still mourning and grieving that, trying to process it all.
Yeah.
And I prayed. I said, Most High, what song should I release? I was going to go with the first track on the EP, which was beautiful. And I prayed about it. And I came across this video where the lady was telling the lady who was wanting to commit suicide. And she
Mm.
stated, Life is worth living, baby. Life is worth living. Get up. And I said, you know what? Worth living is going to be the second single. I'm going to go with this because we're in days where we're going through so much
Yeah.
loss, tragedy. People have lost their homes and fires. So we need hope.
Yeah.
We need hope. And so that's how Worth Living came about. And then I came across Kevin, who's the producer. I came across his beats, and it was one particular beat that I came across. I'm like, this guy is amazing, and he
Yeah.
played like real live instruments.
Oh, wow.
And
Cool.
I subscribed to him on YouTube, and I reached out to him. I came across the beat for Worth Living. I'm like, oh, I was in tears when I heard the beat itself, and because the chorus fits so well with the beat,
Mm-hmm.
and his tracks it's just something about his beats. It just makes it having connect with me, and I can write to him.
Yeah.
But it fits so perfect. And I'm like, you know what? This is the track. I'm gonna go with this. And that's how it came about.
I love that. That's beautiful. You mentioned that your music has a gospel foundation, and why do you think it's important to keep God at the center of your creative process?
He is my everything. He gave me the gift and I have a
Amen.
responsibility. And my grandmother told me at such a young age, she said, Baby, there's nothing wrong with you having a gift, but it's how you use it.
Mm.
You can use it to, give people hope, or you can use it negative, lead people around down the wrong path. But the gift is what God has given you, so you have to be responsible with how you use it.
Yeah,
So I can't take credit for it because it's God's work.
absolutely.
He just using me as a messenger.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that. Um, your music has blends of R&B and pop and gospel, and I think it's a really cool blend that, you mesh. How do you balance these influences while staying true to your message and sound?
Well, it's within me. It's the life I live. I think it's
Yeah,
so important. We have to live a life of love and obedience to the Most High. So that's how I can stay true to myself by staying in connection with the Most High. That keeps me grounded.
I love that. I love that. How do you feel about AI? Everybody's talking about it. I've been talking to a lot of people and they're saying, oh no, I would never use it. And then there's some people that say, I use it. It's beneficial for me. Do you find that AI is super beneficial for the independent artists out there?
It's all how you use it. If
Yeah.
you're using it to be evil and to use one's voice,
Oh yeah, there's that, huh?
yeah, it's all how you use it.
That's true.
I think that's inappropriate. Because nothing can replace the human being, the soul behind the artist who sing the song. There's a difference,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So you can't replace that. You can't replace what God created. But it's all how you use it.
Yeah.
You can use it to do good, if you're doing it to do good to help you, maybe finish a sentence.
Right.
or built in, or you have a website and you have fans that wants to visit your website and place an order or have a question, a Q&A, it can be beneficial that way.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
So it's all how you use it.
Yeah, no, you're right. You ever lost a love for like the passion or the love for some, like your art, like for music, and you know, like because for me, I've had moments in my career that I've like thought, "Ah, God, this is like, this is annoying. I don't want to do this anymore. Like what is this
Hmm.
for? And you just
Yeah.
start to question it all. You ever had those moments, and what was like for you the turning point that reignites your passion for creating?
Yeah, great question. Absolutely. But we lost my grandmother when she transitioned to heaven.
Hmm.
I lost a passion for it. Did not know I was depressed until my
Mm.
friend who passed in 2021. She had told me, she said, "You're depressed." I was, "I'm not depressed. How you say I'm depressed?" She said, "Jeremiah, when the last time that you wrote a song? When was the last time that you sang me a song?" Because I
Mm.
will always sing to her.
Oh.
She said, "Baby, you're depressed. I've been there. I lost my only son. It don't get no easier." She said, "But you're depressed, baby." And I just started crying because I knew I was not in a good space, you know? And I thought I lost the passion for it. And up until last year, um, I had worked with a rapper, Piff, and he wanted me to collab with him. He said, "I can hear your voice on this hook." I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But let me see what you're working, what you talking about. Because I got to be careful what I'm saying. What are we talking about in the song? What is the
Right,
message behind the song? What is your intention?
right.
Um, and so I heard it was so beautiful. And I got in the studio and we recorded it. And when I got in that booth, Meosha, I'm telling you, I felt the inner child, who wanted to be a recorder. It came back.
Oh, wow, I love that.
It came back, and I started crying when he played it back. And then after that session, I said, "You know what? I think I can do this again." But I don't know. But then months went by, and my cousin, he stated, well, I wanted before that, my cousin was talking to me. He said, "What do you do? What are you doing with your music?" He said, "God didn't give you that gift, cuz, for you to keep it."
Hmm.
And then my back of my head, I'm like, "Oh, whatever." In the back of my head, he's my older cousin, so I didn't want to speak it up. But my inner head,
Yeah.
my inner voice was just saying like, "Whatever. I don't have time, but I don't have time for it."
Right.
But he was like, "We're gonna go to the studio. We're gonna." He was cutting my hair. He said, "We're gonna go to the studio. I have a friend who has a studio." I said, he said, "What are you doing after we leave here?" I said, "I got to go to the store and then I'm gonna go home." He said, "You're gonna do what?" I said, "Well, I'm gonna go to the store. I'll meet you at the studio. What time?" "What time?" And that's how I got connected back in the studio. And then I started working with Piff on, the collaboration I had with him. And it sparked my passion for music again. And after recording, that song, and I did a cover song of Shania Twain, it gave me, and then I did "It's You for Me." My friend
Yeah.
Jada wrote that song, and she told me, "You need to get back in the studio. You have a beautiful voice."
Yeah.
And she wrote. I said, "Well, you write the song, I record it," and
Yeah.
she did. She did. She wrote an amazing song, and that's how I came back to music.
I love that. I love that. And I love that your friend also saw enough, that had the wherewithal in himself to, say, hey, shake you out of it a little bit too. I think it's so important to have those kind of people
Yes,
around
my
you,
big
like,
cousin. That's my big cousin.
you know,
Yes. Yep. I have very supportive family and cousins who support and always encouraging
that's always
me.
good.
I'm normally the one who, giving out, but it was amazing to have my big cousin to pour back into me, to look me in
Yeah,
the face and tell me, you can't give up. God didn't give you that gift for you to just let it die, for you to die
right.
with that gift. No. And
Absolutely.
tell me why, Meosha, when I left him, I'm getting teary eyed now. I left him and I went to Burlington
Hmm.
and I came across this sign and it says, "You miss 100% of the shots when you don't take them."
Mm,
Whew. And
wow.
I took a picture. I said, "Cuz, look at this." And he said, "See, I told you."
Oh,
And I still got that picture on my phone. I still got that picture on my phone.
I love
And
that.
that really inspired me, you know, to get back in the studio and to get back to writing.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what it's about, I think it's so important to, as we, this industry is filled with so many ups and downs and uncertainty,
Yes.
but it's so important to be surrounded by the right people, whether that's family,
Yes.
friends, people that are encouraging ear, because you know it's like that's I think I heard something that Kevin Hart was saying in an interview, like your circle is your like everything. It's like your winning circle, like whoever you hang out with, right? Either
Come
you
on.
like they, you
That's
know what I
right.
mean? They influence you, you
That's right.
become it, so
Yes, that's right.
they
Bad
say,
company corrupt good morals.
oh
We
yes,
have to be careful with the company we keep. And I tell my babies that all the time, my niece and nephews, be careful with the company you keep
yeah.
because it corrupts good morals.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. I love that Worth Living, that you put it out, and it's around the holidays and it inspires people, those who are struggling with depression. What message do you want listeners to take away from after listening to this song?
I turn my pain, into purpose.
Mm,
That there's still purpose. I don't care what the enemy or what anybody has told you, there's still purpose. You're worthy, you're beautiful, and you are loved. And I hope people, when they listen to the song, that because that song it exudes love and hope, triumph, triumph. And then I was saying when I was singing, I was thinking about people who were getting a divorce, even when I was writing it. People who got
mm,
divorced, men and women who got divorced, children who are fighting cancer.
mm.
I was crying as I was recording it. And that's what I was thinking about. So that's what I hope people, take away, triumph,
Yeah,
triumph, triumph. Life is
absolutely.
still worth living. Don't give up. Don't give in. As long as you got breath in your body, your heart still beat. That means you have purpose.
That's right.
You have purpose.
That is so true. I love that. Do you feel like, the gospel industry is not taken as seriously as, other mainstream kind of music? And, because I'm sure, like, and I don't know if you've gotten this in your career of like people saying, hey, Jay, you could just talk about different things and kind of appeal to a different audience to kind of get that audience too, like that
Mhm,
to conform, quote unquote, when it's really not your bag. You know what I mean?
mhm.
But
Yeah,
have you gotten that, and how do you deal with that pressure because of course the music world is such a fast-paced, trendy kind of, you know, world. So you
right.
hear those people like uh just talking about different topics because they're trying
Yeah,
to be like everyone else because it's the
yeah,
thing to do.
yeah. Well, I mean, what one wishes to be touched by truth,
Hmm.
and I come from a place of truth and of love.
Love that.
I'm called, for people. So many people can. I don't get caught up with what everybody else is doing.
It's
I don't
good.
even listen to the latest in music out right now, to be honest with you. I listen to a lot of older music that inspired me. That's why you're going to hear that on the EP. I still listen to the Isley Brothers. I listen to John
Wow,
P.
love
Key.
that.
I listen to Tony Bennett. I listen to Frank Sinatra. I listen to those guys. I don't listen to and Michael Jackson. I don't listen to nobody my age because of the messages. I don't think the message ain't too many music. A lot of music is dark. It's a lot of
Mm,
dark. It don't give me hope. When I did turn on the radio, I was disturbed. And
mm,
that's why I was like, you know what? I got to go ahead and finish this EP.
yeah,
So my
yeah,
babies can have something to listen to,
yeah,
and for everybody from 3 to 93, you can put on this EP. All
absolutely.
age groups can listen to it. You don't have to be embarrassed.
I love
you
that. I
know,
love that you stand on business, so so to speak. You're not someone that's swayed by what others are doing. And I feel like that takes a strong kind of person to do that, because a lot of people get, they conform. They want to, you know, get the hit. They want to get, be liked by everyone. But, I love that you
yeah,
don't care. So that's good.
I don't. And I know everybody's not going to like my music, and I'm fine with that.
I
But
love
those
that.
that are called to my voice, who are, walk away being inspired. Um, that's who it's for. And as a writer, the key to being used by the Most High is to get out of the way. Get
Mm,
out of the way.
love that.
Just get out of the way. Leave the room. Allow the Most High to walk in and to use you.
Mm-hmm.
And when I write something that I know is right, I get on my knees. I say, thank you, God.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you. And that's how I feel about, worth living.
love
That
it.
was sent from heaven. It was sent from heaven.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What's your writing process like? Is it different sometimes? Well, like, is it, like, do you ever get those moments you like you can have a conversation and you be talking to somebody you're like, you know what? That would be a good, this topic is actually could be something I could write about. Like, does it happen so like that sometimes, or is it just different? Does it come differently?
Yeah, it's hard to say how one creates music, because like I said, I'm used by God, but I have been in, certain rooms and I'm like, that would be a good topic to talk about.
I love.
Yes, I have been, um, even movies. I watched
Okay,
movies. I was inspired by movies. Yeah,
love
um,
that.
by film, to write a song. So yeah, nature, even nature. Um, when I create, I'm always, looking and listening, being observant of my surroundings.
I love that. That's beautiful. What advice would you give to someone who feels like they lost hope or are struggling to find their purpose as you once did?
I would say you have to do some inner work, and that would first be with the Most High. Seek Him, pray, um, go get the proper help, go get counseling, because the Bible do talks about seek godly counsel.
Right.
Don't be afraid. It's okay not to be okay. It's okay not to be okay. And as men, we are told to be macho.
Yeah.
Don't be weak. When you express yourself, you're weak. But that's not the truth. You know, go to a trusted, pastor or a parent, a therapist. Go to somebody you trust. I'm 34. I'm 34. I don't know everything. I don't know everything. But yeah, I would say go, do that first. Seek the Most High, and if you need professional help, by to a therapist, like I said, or a trusted pastor, or a parent, or a uncle, aunt, go to somebody. Go talk to them.
Yeah.
But
I
at
love
first,
that.
start with the Most High.
Absolutely. I love that. And you touched on something really important there, like how men, I was talking to somebody about that, like just how men are told like you shouldn't you should bottle it in. You're a man, stop being so
Hmm.
emotional. But really, it's really in that I think is where you should find your that's your true strength, that's
Uh-huh.
that I feel like a lot of men should have more moments of like that and not be judged by them and expressing themselves that way. It doesn't make you weak. And I think it does show like, you know, ultimate strength. And I think that that's a beautiful thing to express and see. Um,
Yeah, absolutely.
and
We need permission,
yeah,
permission. And this single has opened up conversations.
love that. Love
I've heard men, older than me saying, I was depressed once. I'm like, yes. So it's
that.
opening conversations, and we need
Yeah.
more of it. So I love it.
Yes.
I'm loving the response that I'm getting,
I was
but
going
yeah,
to ask you
give people
that.
permission.
Yeah, the responses that you're getting, I'm sure that's very interesting, right? With like you said, so this is prompting a lot of responses from men. I'm sure a lot of people, but
Yeah.
what's one of the most like, I don't know, um rewarding responses that you've had so far that you've received from listeners?
One guy said, he was depressed at once when he heard his song. And he said when he walked away listening to the song, it reminded him when he was at that dark place. But he remembered how he triumphed and how he got over it,
Wow.
and he loved it. He
Wow.
loved it. And I'm like, wow. I know what I said to him, like, wow, that's awesome, dude. I'm glad to hear that. And also, hearing, my nieces and nephews, response. They ages from, young age 10 to 16 to 23.
Yeah.
And to hear my nephew tell me, because they're young. He said,
Yeah.
"Unc, you did your thing." He says, "Nice and classy," and I feel it. And he ain't nothing but
Yeah.
16. Nothing but 16. So to hear my baby say that, to hear that, I'm like, okay, I did a good job. And just like already on YouTube, we got 12,000 views.
All right. That's exciting.
So
Exciting.
you know what I'm saying? So people are listening to it. People are
Hmm.
listening to it.
Hmm.
So that warms my heart, and it's just confirmation that I chose, the right song to be
Yeah.
the second single.
Yeah. And congratulations, you're on a roll. I mean, that's exciting.
Thank
Are
you
you
so
working on
much.
anything that you could share with us a little bit?
Music video. So there will be a music
Ooh.
video. Yes, because I'm like, it deserves a music video. 12,000 streams.
Heck yeah.
I didn't think it would get that far. So you know what? We got to do a visual.
That's right.
So we got to do a visual.
You gonna do some dancing, Jay, on the video?
I don't know about that. I'm just a thing. Just give me a mic. Just get my mic in my band. I'm good.
I love it. I love it. That's awesome. Where can people find you on social media to follow everything you got going on?
Yeah, so you can follow me on Twitter with X now, uh, J Anthony the number two and the letter U as in uniform, as well as on IG. I'm also on TikTok now. Almost
Oh,
700. Yeah, so you can follow me on TikTok at J Anthony. Yeah, to you. So yeah, I'm all on social media. I do not bite. Please reach out, follow me. Stay tuned to some of the great stuff that we have coming.
yeah.
Yeah, we got some excited stuff coming. So
I'm
I'm excited.
excited. I'm excited for
Excited.
you. This is exciting. And
Thank you
again, thank
so
you for
much.
coming on. It's always great to catch up with you and hear what you got going on, what you're cooking up over there.
Absolutely, absolutely. And thank you so much for always being so kind
Of
and welcoming.
course.
I
Of
appreciate
course.
you for having this platform for us to come on. And I hope you enjoyed the EP. I believe we covered a lot of ground on
Yes.
this EP. We have a lot of songs that have a bit of a throwback feel, but they sound super fresh.
Hey.
So, and I gave you, I grew up listening to so many different kinds of music, and that is extremely evident, in this body of work when
I'm
you listen
excited.
to it.
Yes, yes. No, I got some. I actually got to a few songs, and I really like what I hear, and I really love it. It's a vibe. It's a vibe. It's really fun.
Really? Oh, thank
Yeah,
you.
it's a vibe for sure. I was like, look at Jay killing it out here doing his thing.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Appreciate you.
Yes,
So, yeah, everyone go purchase it on, you can go purchase on Apple, iTunes, you know, um, it's everywhere where music is played. You
yes.
can
Go cop it.
download it.
Yeah, go
Yes,
cop
go
and
cop it.
download,
Tell your
support.
family, your friends. Yeah, tell everybody about this project. It's timeless music, and like we were saying earlier, in our conversation, and in days where we're going through so much, I believe it's time to sing about love, and
Absolutely.
what has been here since the beginning of time, and that's been love, and
That's
people
it.
wanting to hear a good voice, you know, a
That's
good
right.
voice for good stories, a music of hope.
Absolutely. Love that. Thank you so much again. It was a pleasure. And again, come back anytime. We love hearing from you.
Yes, I will be back. I will be back. Thank you so much, Meosha. Hope you have an amazing day and happy holiday to you and everyone that's listening.
Absolutely. And thank you all for listening. And always remember to live, love, laugh. We'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.